Fantastic. First of all, thank you for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about what we did at the תחומי in Herzliya at the Hamal, or what we call the War Room. It starts, and I'm going to skip the video. We only have a certain amount of time, and skip this as well. Basically, the overview is, and the last slide was how did it start? How did we get off the ground at the תחומי? Well, Amud started the whole escalation of the violence, and students at the תחומי, Israelis, Americans, international students, found themselves in a position where they felt that they saw what the IDF was doing, they saw what the ministries were doing, they felt that they had something to contribute, but they didn't know exactly how to do it. And like good Israelis and I would hope Americans seem to do, they thought about their innovation, what they could do, picked up themselves by their bootstraps, and basically just did it. They just went ahead and did it. They put together a team of students from across the board who came together from all different languages and all different countries to basically get the word out, get the messages out in as many languages as possible. That was the theme of the IDC's War Room, of the Hamal, and of what we did over the course of Amud. It was basically infographics and languages. The Hamal structure. Our main objective was creating content. We had a number of students who had experience with Photoshop, who had experience with graphic design, and we had teams and pockets of teams working on various projects. Here are some of the things that we put together. As was said before, and to the best of my ability, I followed it as well as I could. Stan with us talked about it. I think Yoram talked about it, about getting the correct information out there when misinformation was given or disinformation. We had a number of the graphics that were tweeted out of Gaza or posted on Facebook that were actually false, and we posted corrections and we said, well, this is not actually what's going on. And we also had some positive spin, not so positive if you think about it, but graphics that talk about the real reality on the ground. And that's the message we tried to say. This is what's going on in Israel. We're here right now. We're students. We're like you. You're like us. And this is what we're trying to tell you what's going on here. Next, the way we did it. I mean, I could go on and on. You saw everyone's been talking about it. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and general mainstream media like the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. We had an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal under Israel Under Fire, and I'll get to that moniker, by the way, the name Israel Under Fire. But what I want to emphasize was how the Hamal, the War Room, actually functioned at the IDC. And one of the things that we found off the bat, we used a technology called Dropbox. How many of you here use Dropbox? Most of you, if not all. It was the main method that we were able to transfer information fast enough between each other. You know, you could have had thumb drives. We tried emails. It didn't work. Dropbox was the way to go. From one file to the next, halfway across the room or halfway across the country. Okay. This was our biggest campaign. The Hamal likes to take credit for a number of things over the course of Amud, but it really was a collaborative effort. The Israel Under Fire, or hashtag Israel Under Fire, for which we have the inspiration of today's Twitter handle, hashtag Under Fire. This became sort of the rallying cry of the advocacy effort of students and government officials and even the army over the course of Amud. And I would like to think that we had a big handle in it, in that the Facebook page, Israel Under Fire, for which we started, really became the central focal point of what we were doing on behalf of the State of Israel and on behalf of the IDF. The result, it speaks for itself. Over the course of less than a week, we got nearly 200,000 people talking about Israel Under Fire and the Facebook page itself. Our reach went from 0 to 60, and it's tied into how we reached out to people via our main medium, and that was languages. It was our main asset as a group of mostly international students and a number of other Israelis who knew that in order to connect to people, we had to speak to them in their languages. So we had Spanish, we had Chinese, we had Korean, we had German, we had Finnish, we had Dutch, we had Arabic, we had Persian. I could go on, but our main medium was the languages. Our Twitter. It started as a mirror page for Israel Under Fire, the Facebook page. We basically focused on the strong trends of Amud Anan, and we talked about and we focused on opinion leaders. We retweeted the big names. We retweeted Dover Tzal whenever we could to just get exposure to the messages we wanted to get out there. The result, in 5 days, we had a growth of over 2,400 followers on Twitter. More than 80% of our followers were from outside of Israel, and over 900 tweets in those 5 days. Mike? Oh. Could you not hear me?
No, I could.
Oh, sorry. Okay. We'll move on from that. Like I said, Dropbox was our main medium. It was how we accessed all the files that we had and the information that we were providing to everyone and throwing it all around, not just the Hamal, but Israel and our the various satellites there. The problem about our use of Dropbox is we didn't have full statistics on how it worked. I think it worked pretty well. It seems like it worked pretty well, and I think we're going to use it inevitably in the future. It's misspelled. Okay. Am I done? One last thing. I just want to show this. This was our social impact, our footprint. I think, like I said, it speaks for itself. 61 countries, 29 languages, 320 strategic relationships. It was about coalition building. It was about forming these relationships. And it was about getting our message out there in the best way possible via the new and the social media. I'm sorry I took too much of your time.
Session